I am the Clit Commander.
That's right. You need to record. Okay, yeah. Oh, you've been recording for a full minute.
Yeah, it's on
Wow.
on Talk Studio. Well, how come it didn't prompt me for the stream thingamajiggy? Hold on. Are we live?
Let's see. No, we better not be.
I think we are.
Yeah, I just got
yes,
the notification.
It usually prompts you for what broadcast you want. Oh, I see the name there. I guess we are live. That's great.
Oh, perfect. So the first thing I said was, "I am the Clip Commander." Glorious.
You are the Clip Commander.
We are.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Hey, everybody watching, salute your commander, please.
Sorry, YouTube.
Don't be sorry. This is how we take over.
Clip Bia. You know, I also, before we get started, when we were listening to the Elden Ring, we were so good about cursing. Even I was through that entire episode. Now we can't even go 5 minutes or
what
5
happened,
seconds
Jard?
without. I don't know. I got
about a year ago. When did? Because you guys been on for a year and a half now.
It was right after it came out.
Yeah. I mean, just what the fuck's wrong with you, man?
What you do?
Stupid. What can I fucking say? Richard, what did you do?
Well, so I think for those, I mean, I know we're live, but so you and I are going to do another Game Awards breakdown of the nominees when that comes out soon.
I would be down with that. We can even do it on that Friday after Thanksgiving, like we did last year. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, if they come out, I think they get announced soon. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. I still need to think about top 100, but I can do that through the episode. So Sinistar, whenever you want to.
Don't take mine.
I'm not gonna.
I can only imagine. I can see Jake going, "Let me go first. Mine is son of a bitch."
Well, you're taking the one. I'll take the other one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there we go.
That's what happened last week. No, I'll think of something. It's fine. I'll look at the list. I'll bring
all right, Sinistar. I'm sorry.
No,
fire it up, baby.
Okay. All right, Chooms. Chaos. Screaming. Roll credits. Today on
Angry.
Don't talk over the intro.
Are we just talking over the intro now? This is just our lives now.
Look, at least we didn't swear, okay? This is a step up.
Damn it. Shit.
Welcome in, everyone, to another Press B episode. Your favorite podcast that currently swears on YouTube.
I swear by this podcast.
That's right. I am your host, Sinister77, but I am not alone. Joining the voices in my head today are Chardmonk. How are you today?
I'm all right. I'm fighting a bug, and we have a new furry little creature running around our house. But otherwise, we're hanging in there. I'm very, very excited to talk about this episode. This has been a long time coming.
Excellent. And Jake, how are you?
Telling you to burn things as always. And I have a new furry creature in my household, and it's on my face.
Wait, you told us that you were starting a rap career.
Yeah. Is that the caterpillar that's under your nose there?
That's well, I mean that's never going away. Sorry, I'm distracted. Right. I'm looking at the top 100 list, trying to figure out what the hell to say at the end of this episode.
No, you're fine.
Gotta focus.
Fine.
Fantastic. We only had 15 minutes to get ready for this, so that's cool.
That's right. So today, if you couldn't tell from the intro, which you probably couldn't, today we are talking Cyberpunk 2077 2.0. This is actually a bookend for me because my first guest appearance on this podcast before I became a regular host was talking about Cyberpunk at release time 1.0. So we figured we needed to talk about 2.0. None of us have really had much experience with the new DLC.
I've dabbled. I've dabbled.
Okay. I've played enough to see Idris. I definitely want to talk a little bit about the DLC, but I think it's safe to say we won't have spoilers to talk about. So,
right,
no, and there's some cool additions that the DLC brought that extend the rest of the game too, that aren't just in Dogtown. So there's some things we can discuss in that too.
Yeah, I looked up the list today because I wanted to make sure that I had done my research on the changes that were brought, not bug fixes. There were tons of bug fixes from 1.0 until now. Although I'm glad that there's still a little bit of jank.
Yeah.
I, like, in all honesty, I am glad because that actually is a little bit of a what is it? It gives it a little personality.
That's what I was gonna say. I think it keeps the personality for the game. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
One example, we might as well talk about the jank that has survived.
Yeah.
One example that
Collisions.
I have is I called my vehicle and it showed up and it drove inside of another vehicle. And I was like, well, how am I going to get into that? So I start running toward it and boom. And I took damage. The one that it was sitting on, the one that it had climbed inside of exploded, like you do.
Your Uber brought your car.
Yeah.
That's right.
Elon
car.
is getting his ideas for his auto drive thing from Cyberpunk. Absolutely. He's just,
Oof, hot
Fantastic.
take.
AI
Hot
driver
take
doesn't give
today.
a shit.
Hot take today.
We I did this something similar, except when I summoned my car and turned around, it was literally in the ground. Like the top of this roof of the car was sticking out of the street, and it was just like hanging there. And there was a car behind it honking its horn, and I'm like, "Go around, go around," and I could not get into it.
Or just drive, just drive over.
Yeah, just go over.
Go around.
For me, when I first started playing it, the new update, I'm like, oh, looks like they fixed it. Everything is so polished, everything's so great, it's bug free. And then the very first mission with Jackie, after the lady gets picked up by trauma team and we're exiting, Jackie just walks into the room and he just walks right into the row of filing cabinets and they go flying, papers flying, and he's just casually walking through like nobody notices a damn thing. And that was so funny to me. And that's something I didn't even see in the original.
That's not a bug. That's just how badass Jackie is.
It's just fuck files.
Jackie don't care.
I'm done. You know what I don't like? Files. Destroy.
What I think about your papers.
I actually had that same bug too. I kind of chalked it up as like maybe the pathing was like maybe it was a weird pathing it happened, but it happened to both of us. So
yeah. But I mean, since then, I'd never had it again. And I'm going to say this. I know, going back to the original episode we did on this game when it came out 3 years ago now, which, can you believe it's been 3 years this has come out? It was not, I mean, there was definitely bugs in the game for sure, but I don't think any of us in that episode had any showstoppers like some people are having. I know the game was very rough on console, but having played on PC, I think we're pretty happy with the state of the game when it came out, although it definitely needed a polish pass.
I wanted to actually touch on because I did have one game breaking bug at 1.0. I don't know if you remember I talked about this. It's after you or you're fleeing the hotel at the beginning, right? And it's still the intro Jackie mission. And sorry people, we're going to talk a little bit of spoilers. It's been 3 years.
3 years there, man.
Yeah.
But it's you're fleeing the hotel and there's a part where you end up running up and you have to get in an elevator. And on my first playthrough, luckily I had been doing the whole save early, save often, and I wasn't overriding the same save again and again. But I ran up there, the elevator opened, there were enemies in the elevator. I shot one of them, he died. I shot the other one and he started moving outside of the world. Like you could actually see him spinning outside of the elevator, and I could no longer do anything, and the elevator would not function while that was going on. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm trying to think of any game breaking ones that I came across when I first played.
I did have one actually. You're right. Same area.
I have fallen into the cyberspace once, but that was weird. Where you just fall into the fucking framework, and you're like, oh. There's the world.
No, I had the same mission as you, Sinstar, the escape. One of the guards had a key, and he felt the geometry, and I had to reload a save. But like you, I was just, I mean, when you're on PC and you're playing a game like this, an RPG, you learn to never delete your saves or overwrite your saves, and you're always saving new files. Like it's just something that's ingrained in you from the 90s. You always make new saves. So I didn't really have an issue.
And
with
you
it,
save
but
twice.
That was a bug.
Right.
You always save twice on the same save. You go boop boop. And that's where our anxiety comes from.
Yeah. No, I remember playing the original old Sierra games, and the manuals literally said, we always said, say SCSO, or save early, save often.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
So, yeah, absolutely. But those games mistreated you. Like, If you want to know about game punishment, go play an early Sierra game. It punishes you for being creative. So
the problem with the old Sierra games was the points. I used to hate the points in some of those games where you get to the end of it and you didn't get all the points and you're like racking your brain on what did I miss? What small item did I not type to pick up? Or
you didn't set the stone down on the beach after picking it up.
You
in
didn't
the forest.
look at the stone. You just picked it up. You didn't scan it. Shut up, Graham. Get bent.
Yeah.
All right.
So game breaking bugs. I only had the one early on, and I know Werewolf wanted to join us. I think if he were here, he would talk about one bug. It wasn't game breaking, but he was disappointed that got fixed. Now, I think this got fixed long before 2.0, but he could literally drive his motorcycle up people and launch himself like 20 feet into the air.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wolf actually was like, I missed the first version. I missed the earlier version. I liked how janky it was.
Yeah, for sure.
Part of it for him though is because he went deep into his character customization and he was making, I think it was Michael Keaton from Family Ties for some reason. And he had a bizarre eclectic outfit on because in 1.0 armor stats were a thing and they mattered and sometimes the best armor stats was not the most ideal piece of clothing you're wearing. Like sometimes you'd be wearing gym shorts with a leather jacket because the stats were better. So that's why he looked the way he did.
Wait. That's not appropriate.
I'm wearing that right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't wear pants since
gym
the pandemic
shorts
started.
And
but,
and a business suit.
Add a fedora and a tie and you're good to go.
I think that's actually a good segue because one of the key points in 2.0 is clothing is mostly cosmetic now.
Yeah.
So
thank God. I actually like that. I was weird about that. I was like, these fucking glasses are cool as hell, but they're like one armor point, while the googly eye glasses that I don't want to wear are the best in the game.
Why do you think I wear glasses? These are not functional. These are +6 armor, my friend.
It slays ogres too.
It never made sense that glasses gave armor, right? Or that a t-shirt gave you extra hacking ability. It's a fucking t-shirt with the smiley face on it. Like it's never made
microwave
sense.
in it, Jake.
Yeah.
It's got nanoweave.
More technobabble than Star Trek.
Better life through circuitry clothing.
There you go.
But what bothers me about this though,
the fabric of our net
in this game, and I'm surprised again. I guess I was surprised when I first played it. There's like a lot of cool cosmetic stuff you can wear, like from jackets to hats and glasses and masks, the whole 9 yards. But you never see it in game unless you ride a motorcycle because there's no third-person camera in this mode. This is a first-person only game. Even the mirrors, if you want to look at a mirror, you have to like deliberately go to it, start a conversation, and talk to it. Like there's no way to see your character otherwise. So it's almost like a waste to have all this stuff in the game.
Just run around naked. It's good.
I might have done that for a while. I ran around with no shoes because I forgot to equip a pair because I messed up with the new wardrobe system. So I was running around in a Netrunner scuba suit and no shoes for maybe 5-6 hours. Man. I didn't even notice.
You know, cool if they put swim fins on and your character actually like
flop.
Netrunner fins.
Yeah, and like nobody responds to you. So I mean, you could do that. Like the style of this game was always weird to me. Like there's that one character you meet later on, River, who he's a police detective, but he's got the one earring in the one ear, a cybernetic eye, and a fur jacket. I never understood the style choice between a giant fur jacket, yet he's supposed to be like a serious police detective. It never matched for me.
He's the George Michael of police detectives.
Right.
I guess it just didn't fit the character design to me. I don't know.
Or what's his name's character from Dirk Gently, right? I mean, yeah.
I don't know. Like Panam with the thong underwear. Like, all right, that's a stretch, but I get it. That's fine. Everything else she wears matches. Judy
leave the bodysuit alone, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Judy's the only one that like dresses like you would see someone walking around in overalls and a fucking wife beater. Like that's
you see
that here. You know, that's so normal. No, I don't know.
That's the realism. I just found
Right.
the fashion.
That's why I like it.
That's
It's
all.
real.
So they changed clothing to be mostly cosmetic, which now means that most of your armor tends to come from cybernetics and cyberware.
Yeah.
So, but they've also changed that so that actually the amount of cyberware that you can use is tied to your level. And that I actually appreciate that. I kind
me
of
too.
it kind of feels it pleases the D&D 2.0 or AD&D nerd in me, where
Thaco.
it's like, yeah, I mean,
I like my Thaco.
it gives me little bits of warm fuzzies there.
That's fair.
It's neat, and if you ever find that you want more cyberware, like if your character you're trying to build is meant to be more cybernetic, there's like a whole tree in the perk system now that gives you more cyberware is based on that kind of idea. So there's a path if you want to be over kitted out with Chrome. I tried that.
Sure.
Like the one ability is like you can go 50% more over your cyberware limit, but it costs you a health point per each. So you kind of get the glass cannon kind of feel to it. So I appreciate that. So cybernetics is core to the gameplay, but if you really, really want to focus on it, you can totally do that. And you're just a badass. And like you get so much armor from certain mods, it's insane.
Yeah. I like the skin enhancements that make your armor abilities go up, and then you can level them up, because I know you can get the tiered stuff, but I don't remember in the original version if you could level up the stuff you already had to higher tiers. I
don't
didn't
think
think you
so.
could. So you
No.
can like add components into your already used cybernetics to upgrade its armor, its power, whatever.
Yeah.
And I do like that each Ripper dock, before it was like you had to go to a certain Ripper dock to find a certain enhancement you want. Now they have attachments like poison or freezing or shock, and those are found, but you can still find all the same cybernetics in whatever Ripper dock that you go to. So it's not like I got to go across town to go get the mantis blades because all I have is the mono whip over here, and you're like,
right.
I don't want to go across town. I don't want to waste the time to do that. So it's pretty cool. You just find a Ripper dock and there you are.
Speaking of Ripper docks, you made me think of the opening mission, and going back through and starting again and doing the opening mission. It still tore me apart.
Jackie?
Yeah. Come on, man.
That's why this game was always so good, right? The narrative in this game was so much better. And that's the big takeaway for me, was that the narrative still holds up 3 years later. I like the story in this game quite a bit. I love Jackie. I love Keanu Reeves. I like all the characters in this game.
I like how you can, you don't like River. That's true. I like that there's almost, we were talking about Fable last week for one of our top 100. And I like how there is kind of it's not really like a morality system in the same way, but how you can change how you treat your relationship with Johnny Silverhands throughout the game. So you could be like a total asshole to him. And then as your discussion goes, it drifts into a, you don't like each other kind of thing. And then certain missions that you can do for Johnny don't show up because of your relationship with him and all this other stuff. So it's kind of cool to be like, I'm going to be a total asshole in this play, or this one I'm going to completely relate, and then you get a whole bunch of other stuff that's unlocked with it. So the storyline with Johnny and Keanu Reeves playing the character is it was so weird watching Keanu Reeves play him at first, because he's such a like, I mean, he does John Wick and everything, but he doesn't talk a lot in John Wick, right? It's more just action, him kicking ass. But like the way he's speaking and how aggressive he is when he's talking, and everybody knows that Keanu is pretty chill dude, like he's a pretty mellow guy. You're just like, wow, damn, he really gets into the character of Johnny Silverhands. You're like, sold.
What's weird though, I don't want to go off a tangent on you, Sinister, but speaking of Johnny and Keanu Reeves, Chard, I watched you play a little bit on stream a few weeks back, and you have the is it a pre-order bonus for Phantom Liberty that gives you that yuppie skin for Johnny Silverhand?
Yeah, it's got
suit.
They call it the cursed skin. Yeah, you get that with I don't know.
Watching Johnny Silverhand's voice come into that model was weird though.
I don't know. It's been so long since I played with the original skin that I'm almost used to it now. Playing with the emo half haircut Johnny Silverhands.
Yeah.
with the fucking shirt open. You know, you're like, wow, okay.
I still want his gun. I still want Johnny's gun.
I got it. I actually got it on my last playthrough. I found it.
Yeah.
And his car. You can get his car too, which is sick.
Oh, nice. I didn't get the car, but I got the gun.
Well, that's a good segue as well, because one of the other updates that they did was kind of an entire revamp of car combat. Right. So you used to basically be able to like lean out and shoot, and you could like, and now if you have certain weapons, you can actually shoot through like the windshield, and then you can also get vehicles that you can strap weaponry on top of, right?
Weaponized vehicles are sick.
Yeah. So oh, and then there's also all sorts of perks. Like there's a perk that gives you kind of quick hacking on like other vehicles. You can actually quick hack another vehicle while you're in vehicle combat, right? I mean, so yeah, totally revamped. Car combat feels entirely different. So
and it's fun. It's smooth, and it's really well executed. There's a lot of missions where you're picking up other cars, or you're trying to get away from something and they're chasing you down, and instead of just ramming you or doing a cutscene of you hanging out the window like you said, you can actually have a car that's weaponized and turn the weapons on and use them. And I like that they're not turrets. Like you got to it's got to be right in front of you to
they are hard mounted. You have to like aim yourself at whatever you want to shoot.
And there's a whole level of difficulty of aiming and driving at the same time. It's definitely
it's still janky. Like it's more fun than it was before. At least you can do car combat because it makes sense in this world, but I still find it janky. Like I'm shooting at tires, and half the time I'm shooting at the tires and they still don't explode and go out unless I'm missing something. But I'm glad it's there. I'm glad they changed it. They also changed the vehicle physics when you're driving. It's a lot better handling when it comes to controls than it was in 1.0.
But I will say that vehicle driving still holds that jank factor for sure.
It does.
Like
it does.
One of the things that I actually learned from watching you, Chart, I never realized this. I kept my hand on the mouse and I kept trying to like aim when you're driving a car in this game, let go of the mouse.
Hand up, because it centers it for you, and then it connects the camera to the car so it turns wherever you're turning. But when you do combat, you have to use the mouse to aim your shit. So you're fucking running into everything because you're still trying to shoot behind you or next to you and still steer. It's definitely it'll give you cross eye real quick. But the added car combat to all that, and speaking of cars, one of the DLC additions is you can go and do car stealing missions where you can go find cars that are on one of the fixer's radars while you're driving around, and it shows up as a little steering wheel on your map. And take that, and then it's like Grand Theft Auto where you steal the car and then you take it to that fixer and he puts it in a garage. But while you're doing that, of course, you're getting mobbed by police, other gangs, other assholes, and you're trying to get it there in one piece while they're still like shredding you with bullets. Those are cool missions. I like those, but they are definitely very, very difficult.
Yeah, they're very tough. It's for El Capitan, I think. There's an introductory mission I remember doing with him, and it's fun, and I like how it's procedural. So if you miss one, don't worry about it. There's like another one that gets randomly created later on. Like it's every hour if you want.
I blew one up.
Yeah.
I still blew one up. I came tearing ass in with my mechanized car and just was shredding everybody and blew the damn car up. So I drove away.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, so we've touched also on skill tree, and that's something important that changed as well. They revamped a lot of the skills. One of the things I like about it is you actually can refund skills with no like risk of losing points or anything. The one difference is they did change. You used to previously be able to refund your ability points. That you can't do. Well, you can do it once, and then that's all you get. So if you get to level, I don't know, whatever, 30, 35, whatever, and you're like, I don't like this build, you get one time to refund your ability points. But honestly, I think if you play long enough, the ability points kind of become, okay, I've got enough ability points and now I'm just building my skill trees however I want.
Yeah,
Right.
I have enough skill points. I'm only maybe halfway through the game playing through again, and I have enough to max out at least 2 of the attributes and the perk trees. Third one's not is not a problem, and I can probably do halfway through a fourth. There's also like this game is also all over Mod Nexus, and there's a very simple mod you can install that lets you refund your attributes whenever you want. So this is what it's like the inventory restrictions in Witcher 3. It's like a quick INI file mod. It's the same thing with Cyberpunk. I just turned that on because like part of the fun of this game is just to mess around the building until you find a character that clicks with you. So I have no guilt turning that mod on. It was worth it.
That I wanted to call out one of my favorite skills that I've seen Chard use quite a bit, which is the lead and steel perk.
Yeah. Is that the deflection with the katana stuff? Yeah.
Yeah. So, cool. You go in the beginning, you go through all the cybernetic or the cyber like training for your weapons. And then in the game, you're like, okay, swords are cool, katanas are cool, whatever. And then you get this perk and you're like, ha, now I'm running up on dudes that have machine guns,
man,
with my sword,
The katanas were like, at first it just seemed like they were just like, this is cool. But I gun. Like when you get those perks like boosted, you're just crushing it. You're just slicing everything around you. And it's like bullets can't touch you anymore, especially with that specific perk. It's cool as hell.
Yeah. What about Jake? What about you? Any mods or any perks that have come up that you've absolutely adored?
Yeah, sorry, I dropped a few frames there. Yeah, I definitely. So my problem with this usually when I play these single player RPGs and I'm playing it for a second time, I always fall in the trap of redoing what I did the first time. But at least when I did that with this game, like this patch, at least there's enough things different that it feels completely different. I also did katanas, and instead of the quick hacking though, I subbed out the quick hack module for Sand Division, which is the slow motion, the stop time thing, and that's cool as hell. And when I first tried it, because I wasn't sure, I really felt I missed quick hacks, because quick hacks is what lets you, stun enemies, turn off cameras, all that cool stuff.
Yeah.
But when you have the slow mo and you kick that in instead, it does make up for it in that I can slow mo and I can run past cameras. I can slow mo. I can run in slow mo into a crowd of 3 or 4 dudes, slash them all with the sword, finish moves the whole 9 yards, and then duck out in the seconds I have slow mo, and it feels completely Cyber Ninja like. It's really cool. I did mess around the third option, which is your Berserker, like it's like a rage module. So I feel like they definitely expanded that so that you don't necessarily need to always take quick hacks. There's definitely viability in the Sand Division and the rage module, and that was cool as hell. I love that slow mo feeling. It was that, and then there's an optic camo one, which I've also had a lot of fun with too. Like stuff I didn't even give time of day last time I played this game.
Yeah. I didn't even know some of that stuff was available until this go around and you talked about it, Jake. I was like, there's a slow motion thing, and then I was digging through the Ripper Doc stuff because, like I said before, if he didn't have it, you didn't get it, right? So I was like at the same 3 damn Ripper Docs because I didn't know where to go and was still trying to find my way in the world. And I started, but I was like you. I was like, man, I miss these quick hacks because I'll be hiding behind something. I was like, shit, I can't quick hack the camera. I can't turn it off. This is going to be a problem. And I never thought to myself that I could just high speed past it and it wouldn't even see me if we use the slow mo. So that'd be something I change out.
Nice. Awesome. Let's see. I'm going through my list here. So, big update to police behavior.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it used to be that in 1.0 or 1. Whatever, basically cops just kind of showed up when they needed to. Like they just kind of popped into existence. And now you have really patrolling police officers. You actually have a heat buildup when you're fighting them, stuff like that. So it feels, I feel like they brought a level of realism to that.
They used to disappear when you went inside. That was the thing I remember from the first game. Like if you were getting chased by cops, duck into a building and they're gone. They now chase you. Not as much as I would like, but they definitely have better AI.
I like the you can't drive like an asshole. Like if you drive too much like an asshole and you just run into shit all the time, they will send the cops on you, even if they're nowhere near you. You will see like, and it's cool because they'll do like the scanner, be like car 44. There's a reckless endangerment, like whatever code is out there, and it's always some snarky like, hey, that's in my neighborhood. I'll take you to tacos sometime or some shit. You're like, all right, there's some realism to this too. It's pretty funny, like some of the comments that are made where they're like, oh, I was just about to get off work. Fine, I'll go let go and do it. You know, like
I was one day from retirement.
Yeah.
So, there's one mission I did that system where you had to escort a guy in your car to a warehouse or whatever, and then it's scripted. I think it's the one where you have to the guy who's got the cyber dick problem. So I scooped him up, and we're traveling.
Right.
And I got to the end, and everything was being thrown in your way, like literally like the two guys with the pane of glass type of trope, the cart full of watermelons, all this but Cyberpunk themed. And I got to the end, and as I was pulling into the parking lot, I pulled into the wrong side, so I had to back up. And as I was backing up, I backed over a pedestrian, and I lost the mission because the cops got involved. Because you're supposed to do it without the cops getting involved. I was so pissed off because that was a 10-minute sequence. I had to start all over again and not hit any pedestrians. So, but it's still cool though. It's pretty funny.
Well, and from what I understand, I haven't had this happen, but from what I understand, if you build up your heat meter far enough, it's whatever that elite level cops, they show up.
Yeah.
They
I think I've gone as high as 3 or 4. I haven't gotten to like the maxed out heat level just yet. So
yeah, the ones that fly in their little transport and drop down, apparently they eventually show up and they wreck your shit. So
just let's go driving on the outskirts.
Yeah.
See if you can dip them out there.
There you go.
It's cool though. I think it makes the world feel a bit more alive, which is good.
Yeah,
because that was one of my complaints.
There's consequences to your actions, and you feel like that's what Cyberpunk should be. Is there's a lot of consequences to a lot of the poor decisions you make. And at first, it was like it was all in the dialogue, right? You can decide on how your consequences need to be, but you could still drive around like a total piece of shit and take out like 8 people, and the cops are like, "We're just here to get our coffee," you know. They don't respond or anything. And you drive past like 5 of them, and they're like, "Oh, hey, that guy just killed like 20 people."
Did you guys see anything? I didn't see shit.
Yeah. And now you fire a gun accidentally in the middle of a crowd, and they just converge on you like fucking out of nowhere. You're like, "I'm sorry, I was trying to run and I pressed the wrong goddamn button. I'm sorry."
You fix these controls. What the hell are controls?
Yeah. Jesus.
It's one thing though. Like it does make the world feel more alive, and it was a mistake. It was the thing I had an issue with in 1.0 is that the city is built so detailed and there's so much there and it's great. And there's dozens of people on the sidewalks, but there's nobody you really interact with. You really only interact with a handful of NPCs considering. That's improved a little bit in 2.0 with the cops and some other things, but it does still feel like it's mostly for show. And I get why that is. It's not Grand Theft Auto, but I wish you could interact more with like street vendors or the kiosk guys or the flea market areas. I wish you could talk to more people and buy things, even if it's junk crap. I wish there's more talking there, but there isn't.
I'm going to throw up a counterpoint though. Like you've got that, which it's annoying from an aspect of like you can't talk to many people. And then you've got Skyrim, where every single motherfucker says that they used to be a great adventurer until they got shot in the knee. Yeah. Like, yeah.
So,
yeah, there's probably
another civilization needs your assistance. You're like, fucking Fallout, stop.
Yeah.
Please stop talking to me.
Yeah. I don't give a shit about your little town.
It'd be small things, like, so there's a motel you stay at early on in the story. If you go back to the motel afterwards, you can't stay the night there anymore. And it would have been nice if I could, because I wanted to stay there because I was low on health and shit hit the fan, and I wanted to wait till the morning. And there's an in-game system for waiting, and that's fine. But I thought, I'm right next to the Pan Am's hotel. Why don't I just go there and stay the night? He doesn't mention anything about getting a room. You can't buy a room or buy an inn. And I kind of wish they had that from Skyrim. I don't need every single person walking up to me with a quest. That's one of the complaints I had about 1.0 was all the text message quests. But I wish there was a little bit more interactivity.
Jake wants to sleep off the heat.
Yeah,
it's been a rough night, guys.
Well,
it's like when I play these games, sorry, Sinister, but like when I play this game, I refuse to fast travel. I didn't even know fast traveling existed when I first played this game, and even though I know it's there and I see the fast travel points, I never touch them. I always drive to every destination. I love driving across the city. I got the
Yeah.
bike from Akira in the game now, and I zip across the city. It's fun as hell. I
Nice.
love doing it. But I like that just an ounce of RP where can I just stay the night at this desert hotel? But
I think the three of us like to drive the city. I think it was
hell yeah.
Wolf. I think it was Wolf.
Graffiti tarot, or I'm trying to find collectibles throughout the world. I will fast travel just because I'm trying to do it quickly and pick them up. But if it's like mission to mission, I drive from one end of the map to the other. If you're gonna buy the damn cars that are out there, why don't you use them? Use the cars. So I love driving around the cars, and now that we're getting like some more like different styles of cars and the combat of the cars and whatnot. I got my favorite car already with the guns mounted on the front, and I love cruising around the city. And then somebody pisses me off, I just light them up, and then I gotta run from the heat,
and then flee the cops.
Yeah, it's a whole nother level, and it adds like Jake said, it adds another level of realism while playing the game. You know, you just drive around. But if I'm trying to grab a collectible, or if I'm looking on something online, I'm like, oh yeah, there's something here I wanted to get. I'm just gonna do it real quick because it's gonna take me 15 minutes to drive to it, as opposed to I've got 10 minutes to play, so I need to do it real quick. Then I'll fast travel from one point to the other. But when it comes to like the missions and like when we settle in and we stream, I try not to fast travel too much because I like to take in the realism of the world. And you see some cool shit.
I do want to call out. I think that this is something that CD Projekt has done incredibly well. That and I love my Skyrim. I loved my Oblivion. I loved my Morrowind. Like, I loved Fallout 3, or Fallout New Vegas. Amazing, but when you look at the actual length of the like the main quests in those games, they're actually really short, and it's because they expect you to go talk to everyone, right? And what CD Projekt has done is they have made a really cool story front to back in both The Witcher and in Cyberpunk. And now that supposedly the DLC, I haven't experienced it yet. I own it, but I haven't. But I mean, I think that where they basically looked at is they're like, we can either have you talk to every motherfucker, or we can build a story, right? And let's concentrate on the story. And so I think that's really probably the reason that you don't see as much interaction as you do in, say, a Bethesda game. And that's because they basically were like, story is first and foremost. And Bethesda is like, the open world is first and foremost, and we'll tack a story inside of it.
That makes sense. I mean, there's still plenty of stuff to do. Even Jake watching me stream them is just like, just do these other missions. You are going to get so lost in everything that's up. Because I'm trying to not, trying to go from the bottom up and tick them all off. And it's just like, there's so much.
It's the completionist. It's the completionist.
So much to do. And I'm like, it's hard for me to just do main storyline stuff when I've got all this shit underneath it. That's the reason I never finished The Witcher, because I'm like, I can't get all this done in a reasonable amount of time. I can't do it. And I can't let it just sit.
That's the reason I never finished Oblivion. And when I got Skyrim, I was like, okay, I am going to do the main story from front to back before I do any side quests. And then literally 10 hours later, I'm like, that was it?
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah.
And I will say though, because I know I mentioned you guys offline as well. There's a lot of side quests that are in your logbook, but there's not really a quest to them. Like, a lot of them are just points of interest, and you get maybe a few lines of dialogue, and you get a really cool item. Like there was one where it was a garbage dump, and there was a really cool item there, and that was the quest. So a lot of the side quests you come across are just points of interest, but there was also a lot of in-depth side quests, especially with the romanceable characters like River, Judy, Panam, and all them. Those quests are pretty substantial, and those are worth doing 100%. But like the stuff with Delamine, I'm not going to do a second time. The stuff that's with the car stealing, I'll do a little bit of that, but I didn't really focus on it. Or the Cyber Psycho quests. I would love to do all those, but it's too time consuming. So I kind of just picked the few that look interesting and move on.
I will say, for those that are listening, if you haven't played this game before, or you haven't done the Delamine missions, go do them.
They're pretty
At
funny.
least once.
And
Yes.
there's a decision that you can make towards the end of it that can sway some things. So I think the Delamain one's definitely. I did it twice. They're both worth doing whatever in my opinion. I had something I was going to say and I can't remember what it was. Oh, some of the stuff like since you get to play as a corpo or an outlander or all the other the street kids.
Street kids.
Some of the missions that like unlock specific I want to say legacy, but you know what I mean, like character class stuff. Like one of the outskirt ones gets you your car back that you had at the beginning of the mission, and somebody took it when you were doing the Jackie stuff, and you didn't have your car anymore. But if you follow one of the missions, you go out into the Badlands and you find it, and somebody stole it from you, and you could be a dick and steal your car back, and then you have it in your thing for like.
Are you the dick or were they the dick?
A little bit of both.
Who stole it first?
Because she was like, it was my way out of town, and I'm like, bitch, this ain't my car. I was like, give me my car. I was like the fucking Flavor of Love ladies. I was like, bitch, you fucking pulled my weave, and we fight over the damn car. But then I chase her off, and I'm like, and that's the car that Sinistar goes, yeah, that transmission sounds like shit. Like, well, I built it, so yeah it probably does.
Did you buy any vehicles in the game at all or no?
What's that?
So you did Delamain's quest. So you got his car, I think, out of the quest. Yeah. But did you buy any vehicles in the game, or just use the stock one you had from the beginning?
Oh no, I've been buying them all. I've been buying what I can.
When I need another vehicle, I just take it. I mean, let's be honest.
I like having them available to me so I can use them wherever I want because I want a specific ride. I can call it instead of like. I mean, there's definitely the shiny factor, but I like the gun. I like the cars with the weaponized front end. And that's out in the Badlands to go get those. You have to like drive out there to find one. So I just was like, fuck it, I'll just have it come and deliver to me. Uber car,
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought a motorcycle that looked like it's out of Akira. So anime, it goes the near max speed, and when you're in the Badlands and you just zipping across, it's hilarious. As long as you don't hit something. The moment you hit something, you go flying and you're dead. But it's fun. The journey is fun.
But can you drive up pedestrians?
Well, I mean, I'm usually following the rules of the road. I just happen to be going twice as fast as anybody else. But there's a lot of vehicles in the game. That's really cool. But my thing was you can't carjack unless your strength is high enough, because I'm playing with a build where I have the technical abilities really high. So I can steal from parking lots, but I can't steal in the middle of the street. The first time I tried carjacking and I couldn't open the door and they just ran me over was pretty freaking funny, I got to say. Yeah.
And I'm the opposite. I have a high strength build and gorilla arms, and I'm ripping off doors, but I can't break into a car that's sitting in a fucking parking lot. Except I can rip open doors to other places. I just can't get this car because I'm not smart enough to open the damn door. You walk up
to it, you're like, don't understand.
Too stupid. Person must be driving to enter.
Yeah. Where's the driver for me to throw out?
Right. I wanted to go back to the Cyber Psycho thing that you brought up, because initially in the first version, Cyber Psychos had a level and you couldn't fight them unless, I mean, you could, but they were next to impossible in certain levels. But then they made everything blanket level, like everything scales with your character. So you can go and do all the Cyber Psycho stuff like right off the bat and not worry about getting your ass kicked. And I ripped through all of those because there was one that I was stuck on forever over by the damn pier. And that chick just kicked the shit out of me every time. And I went in with freaking revenge in my eyes and I annihilated her.
She jumped on top of the bus shelter and I couldn't get up there because I didn't have the jumping legs at the time. And she just stayed up there staring at me. I had to like kind of kite her off the top of the building. It was hilarious. But she was tough, even with the scaling. I'm not sure I'm sold on the level scaling yet, because Skyrim does this too. It ensures the game is not easy. None of the encounters are easy. But none of them are very hard either. So I don't know if that's good or bad. It definitely makes Cyberpunk more of a narrative. It's more of an interactive story than it is a game at this point. So I'm not sure if I like the scaling or not.
I dig it because it gives me accessibility to go through and do all the fun stuff. And you know me, I like to feel like a badass. So I got gorilla arms and I'm doing the fight the kid missions and I'm just beating the shit out of every single person in the ring, and then it just helps progress the story. I mean, it's not, some of the stuff is hard. Like there's definitely some things that I've died on, that was scaled, but like a lot of the side stuff that I just want to knock out and move on, you can go rip through those pretty quick and get it done. I beat up that dude and stole a sniper rifle, and I was carrying that sniper rifle for a long goddamn time. That thing is OP when you first start out.
Yeah.
Sniper's pretty good. I love Johnny's handgun. I use that because his handgun's the one where if you do the melee attack, it's the fire. I think it is.
Yeah.
That was pretty badass. Otherwise, I'm using the one of the best katanas in the game was the Satori, and in 1.0 you kind of had to like exploit the game to get it early. So they took that exploit out, but what they did in exchange is they put it on a vendor in Dogtown in the DLC. So I came across it pretty early on. And that thing is amazing. So I love the katana. I'm mostly doing melee and occasionally use the handguns, but I'm having fun with that.
So looking at my list, because I do want us to get to the DLC at least a little bit, but the last couple items that I had were they changed stamina. So the jumping and sprinting don't really consume stamina, but you do lose it while shooting. And that actually is changed so that you actually suffer less accuracy when you start losing stamina. Yeah. I actually like that. I like that quite a bit.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's like the widening reticle, right? Where it's not like pinpoint and you're trying to hit things and you're fucking winging shit left and right while you're trying to get away or trying to get to an area. The combat in the game feels good. It did to begin with, but again, we were playing it on PC, so we weren't playing on PS4 or any of that stuff, but it felt good. It felt smooth. It still feels smooth. It still feels good to like jump behind something. And I like the fact that you can do an espionage, sneaky kind of playthrough if you want to.
Yeah.
Or you could just go in guns blazing. And I've always liked the games that allow you to do either or. So you don't screw it up. You can just be like, fuck, well, now I got to kill everybody, instead of just trying to get to one point or the other. And I do appreciate that about that. So I do like the hindrance of actual reality. If I'm running and gunning in real life with a cybernetic arm, it'd be hard for me to hit a target if I'm, too tired to hit it. So I appreciate that.
You have that problem too? Yeah, I do too.
I do. Yeah. I have the one cybernetic eye and the too big an earring. And it throws off my aim.
All you need is a fur jacket to give yourself the balance.
And the fur jacket, yeah. The fur jacket helps equalize everything.
Yeah.
I do like that in the DLC too. There was one quest where you can talk your way through it, or you can just go in guns blazing. And I was kind of in a rush, so I kind of went guns blazing. Got my ass handed to me, but I could have done it if I wanted to. So I like to give you that freedom. They give you the choice of what you want to play as, and that's good.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of that can be initiated in conversation. And that's cool. Like you could talk your way out of it if you're like a high enough level of, technical or intelligence or whatever. Sometimes you can back your way out of like a tough situation, or you could just be like me and Mongo yourself through everything and just be like Hulk smash. And you know what? I'm tired. And you just punch the dude in the face and his head explodes. And then you destroy everyone around you. It's neat. I love the choices you can make.
Oh, for sure. It's kind of like a halfway between what it originally was and like Baldur's Gate level choices, right? Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah. This game has good choices. Baldur's Gate showed us what choices really are in a video game.
What real choices are.
But this one does a good job of it. So
yeah.
And then the one last bullet point I had is they changed healing. So that instead of like, having a whole bunch of healing items in your inventory, you basically pick what type you want, and then they just recharge over time. You get
which
I
love. I love that.
Yeah.
I love
it. It's a cooldown system. It's way more intuitive. And like there's enough. I mean, I don't want to deal with consumables in this game. I really don't. I'm focused on the stories and the combat. Yeah. I don't want to have to sit and see how many heal packs I have in my imaginary backpack. I really don't. I love the cooldown system for this, and it's fair because you can use it a couple times in combat, and that's fine. But when things get really heated and you're definitely over your head, it's not going to make the thing easy for you. It's still challenging,
right? And you're burning through it, but when you burn through the cooldown is not forgiving. Like you can't just keep like
you got to get yourself clear for a few minutes.
Yeah, you got to get out of there, and I like it because it's very you never run out, but you also can't just like face tank an entire area.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. Just keep breathing the breathalyzer, and you're ready to rock. But they do the same thing with the grenades too. I like the grenades have a reload system as well.
It's not like Skyrim where you eat 20 apples in a pause screen and you're fine. It's not like that at all.
Yeah.
Like, I really like what they did with this.
Yeah.
Yes.
What, you
Wow,
don't
this is
you don't
like-
sit there and eat 20 apples and heal? I mean,
It's just like, hold on,
like-
hold on, stop shooting. Let me drink this 5 gallons of milk, and then we can go.
I'm gonna jump into this good old apple crisp, Cosmo crisp. Give me a few seconds to eat this giant pie.
that's right.
And, we'll get back to the battle.
Hey, if you stop attacking me, do you want a slice too?
Yeah. It'd be okay if I shared. You're not hungry? Okay, that's cool. This is such like a Bethesda versus CD Red Project episode all of a sudden.
And we should really talk Bethesda at some point, because I do love the Bethesda games. I really do.
Yeah.
I have hundreds of hours in Oblivion, and I've never completed Oblivion because the completionist in me won't let me finish Oblivion.
Yeah, I'm the same way with Skyrim.
Yeah,
The thing, I like those games too, but there's definitely a Bethesda feel to their games. And like when I tried playing Starfield, I was kind of done with it. A lot of what was in Skyrim that I loved didn't translate very well to the space setting, and I was just kind of done with it. And it felt like, how many decades have they been making this kind of game, and it's still the same stuff? And
you mean you can't turn into a space werewolf?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, at least in Cyberpunk compared to Witcher 3, I loved Witcher 3, and there's definitely the DNA of CD Projekt Red in there in Cyberpunk, but they're still drastically different games with different narrative styles, drastically different combat, inventories. They feel completely different games, and they did a good job with that.
Feels like if you were to fishbone these two games, you would get the skeleton of CD Red Project, but there'd be so much different directions that it goes in that it's just like the foundation's the same, but it's definitely a different car. Like it's a Toyota and a Ford. It's like completely two different vehicles.
I will say, when we're talking Bethesda real quick, I do like the VATS system in the Fallout games. I do like the VATS system. Did you played a little bit of Starfield? Did they have a VATS type?
Not by default, no, but I'm wondering if there's a perk that gives you something like it. I don't, not out of the gate, no. Although I want to say, I don't think Fallout 4 had the VAT system either. I don't think.
No, I think that they went to, I think you could still do slow motion, but I don't think you had to select the targeting.
Right. Yeah. So it's not quite the same. I think Starfield probably has a perk that lets you do something similar to what Fallout 4 did, because there's a lot of similarities between 4 and Starfield, but I could be wrong. But out of the gate, no.
Okay.
Yeah, Fallout 4 does have the Vault Tech assisted targeting system.
Yeah.
Okay.
It did have.
Okay. But I think it was simplified, if I remember right.
Yeah.
It's definitely not what 3 had, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't. Isn't Cthusiast Jeff a massive Bethesda fan? And if he's still in chat, maybe he can correct us.
He's a No Man's Sky fan.
Yeah.
And Star Fox 64.
Yeah. But okay, so that's the main game, kind of the big changes that happened in 2.0. Avoiding talking about all the bug fixes, because if we talk bug fixes, we'd be talking for 12 hours.
Another 2 hours, yeah.
Since you guys have experience with the DLC to a degree, which of you wants to start, and let's talk about it?
I'm not going to start with it, if you don't mind, Chard. So,
yeah, go ahead.
The main difference first off, I'm going to say that I'm not going to spoil the story and whatnot, but I think everybody's seen the trailer. Everybody knows Idris Elba is in it. And basically, the general gist of the mission is you got to save the present, which is the thing. How you go from Cyberpunk V, the Merc for Hire, who's, the whole stuff with Johnny Mnemonic in your head and all that stuff, that to helping the present, bit of a stretch. I didn't quite like the opening to the story and how you get recruited. It's fine, but it's a bit cheesy. But once you get past that, the story is pretty much balls to the wall the entire opening sequence. Like, it never slowed down. I think even Chart offline, you were saying when you were playing through it, I'm not sure when I can leave or take a break, Because I know everybody's telling me when I was playing the DLC, make sure you don't do the whole DLC all at once. Take a break, kind of pace yourself with the regular gameplay of Cyberpunk. I'm like, when do you take a break? Because it's several hours long in the intro, and it does not slow down, and that's good.
Yeah,
it's definitely a fast paced. But that was, but it does eventually give you a chance to break, and you get a chance to explore the new area, Dogtown. It's definitely cool. And you meet the other characters and whatnot. So I did like that once it got past the initial intro. And I did want to say the first boss, without giving any spoilers, it's a vehicle of some kind. That boss fight is dramatically better than anything remotely resembling a boss in the base game. So they definitely taken what they learned from Cyberpunk 1.0, and when they made this DLC, they went in a really positive, cool direction in terms of storytelling and boss encounters for sure.
Yeah. It's definitely a hold on to your fucking butts kind of feel, because Jake, what do I do, man? I feel like I'm gonna play this whole thing out. It won't stop, and then all of a sudden, like you get a reprieve. Like there's a space where it's like, oh, okay, now I can leave. Like, and it was right when you start thinking, I'm never gonna get out of here. It lets you go. Like it literally lets you go. But the boss fight was one of the highlights of the first, I don't know, hour and a half of playing the intro of the Phantom Liberty DLC. It's cool. It's cooler than most of the stuff I did in the base game so far. I have yet to finish either of the DLC or the original game at all.
You didn't beat the original game?
I spun off of it. No, I spun off of it a couple months ago. There was so many. This is one of those things where there's too many good games coming out. I think Elden Ring came out, and that kind of took away my time, and I backburned it because I was like, we're having fun playing it. The whole this running joke that still lives on the channel is still there, and but there were things about it that I was like, I was the Witcher thing. It was the over inundation, the mission fatigue. I'm like, there's just too much to do, and I don't have the time to get it all done. And there's all these other games I want to play. Now I feel like it's been a while. I think this and Sea of Stars are the only two games where I've been like thinking about them at work to come home and play them. Like that's how good this update for Cyberpunk that's been out for 3 years was it was like, oh my God, I want to go home and go drive cars around in the Badlands. I want to go try and get these missions done for Pan Am and for Judy and see where things are going. Like, and the honest to God, the graphics also massively improved, and it's such a subtle thing that you don't realize it until you look back on like like what you were playing beforehand. And because we're streamers, most of us are streamers, we can go back and look at our older VODs and be like, shit, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they changed to this. So it's so good, and it's so much fun, and it's been a while that I've been like itching and raring to get home and play something, and I can't. As much as I'd love to play it on the Steam Deck, it just does not do the game enough justice to play it on my Steam Deck. I have to play it on PC.
So I will say one of the things with this game is they did increase the minimum requirements for it, which I know kind of pissed me off in the beginning. But having gone back to it, because my computer is like, I mean, it was good when I bought it, but it's been quite a while. So if you ran Cyberpunk at release at like medium or high, today when you go to run it, you're going to be running on low. But that said, when I run the game at low, it looks just as good as it did when I played it at release on medium/high. Yeah. Like they increased the requirements, but it still looks good. They just added an extra tier above to take advantage of RTX and stuff.
Well,
so there's that.
It's the same kind of concept as they did with The Witcher 3, where they came out with the HD, DLC, right? I mean, that is a huge plus for me with CD Projekt Red is they don't go back and they're not like, okay, that's mothballed forever. Right. No, they continue like Witcher 3. How many years? 6 years after, they're like, here's an HD upscale. Enjoy, right? I mean,
and it looks fucking good.
Yeah.
And it's it's nice that we often complain about the three of us didn't, but the world as people buying games online that aren't finished. We had a discussion about this in a previous episode about things just being broken upon release. CD Red Project went and did all this stuff. Now you could get the DLC if you wanted to, and you paid for it, and it was $30 or some shit American, or you can not get it, and you still get the version 2.0 update for free,
Right.
and play all the improved stuff. You just don't have the DLC. They just packaged it because the DLC was coming out, so they released it as a bundle kind of deal. But The Witcher 3, like Sinistar said, you get that stuff 6-7 years later, and it was free. None of us had to buy the HD upgrade. They're just like, oh, by the way, here, we're going to make this game look better to fit with modern times, because it's still a popular game. So, and I totally appreciate that. They're not like, well, we're going to make all these bug fixes, and we're going to do all this stuff, and then you have to buy blank to get it to work with the rest of your stuff. You have to get the DLC to get the improvement, because Destiny did that shit.
Or special edition Skyrim for more money, right?
Yeah. Bethesda, looking at you. They didn't like just keep releasing it and we just kept buying it. It was like, here's a patch. Oh, there's some DLC. You can get it if you want to, but you get the patch regardless. So it's not like you were forced to go and have a chit chat with Idris Elba to get the nicer looking graphics and the improved combat, car combat. You just got some bonus with it.
This is a company that loves their IP. Right. I mean, you can tell, I mean, you hear oftentimes remakes of games and you're like, oh, okay, whatever. And sometimes you're like, but like Witcher 1 remake, I loved Witcher 1. I am looking forward to a remake of Witcher 1. Right.
I'm still reserved on that one. But I mean, I love The Witcher, and I'm happy to see what they do with Geralt. I love Geralt. I love his voice actor, and I'm happy to see what they do with him. I'll play it regardless. Yeah. But I'm with you. Sometimes you see remastered, and you're kind of like, I don't know, like Super Mario RPG is getting a remake. I hope it's good, but I don't know. I don't know if I want that.
But I have a stance about remakes, and Dead Space came out and completely destroyed my entire feeling of like, damn it. This is so good, and it's so good to the source material, and it's like they made it so awesome. So I'm like torn on that.
That's what I think, because CD Projekt, like as I said, you can tell that they love their intellectual property. They love their intellectual property, and so I really feel like they will give it appropriate treatment. It's not going to get the FF7. Like, here's a game 3 times. Like,
I just pulled a Jake. It's not pandering. Like, it's not so freaking obvious that they're like, here's all this cool shit, but you got to pay for it. Or here's something that's reimagined, but you have to pay for it.
And it's not slapping a coat of paint on it and being like, here, buy our game again.
Right.
No, it's with Dead Space, it's the same story, but that entire like field of play is new. You just ride along the same story rails, right? I mean,
exactly.
Like what this is it's fixing the reputation of what they damaged when they released this game buggy. That's what it is, especially for console players. If they can still play on their other consoles, but this, to me, this kind of redeems the studio for future games they bring out. That's it. They're also one of the reasons why I will never pre-order a game. I'm going to wait for a release, and I'm going to wait for reviews because of things like Cyberpunk and No Man's Sky. I love Hello Games. I love No Man's Sky today, but when that game came out, it had issues, and Cyberpunk had the same growing pains. If they given this game an extra year of polish, I think it would have been fantastic. They couldn't. At least they fixed it now. And what they've done now is above and beyond just fixes. They reworked the game based on years of feedback, and it's now such a great polished product. To me, it almost qualifies for a Game of the Year considerations. It might actually, depending on how the story goes in Phantom Liberty. Like they've rebuilt this game in such a fantastic way. Like Witcher 3, you're right. They released a patch that polished a hell of a lot of it. Mm-hmm. It's great, but this is much more dramatically changed than that. Like the cyberware and system and the cosmetic, the armor they've changed around, the perks have been redone. Like everything they've done has made this a much better game. And if you don't care about the expansion, you get it for free if you've already paid for the game, which is great.
We have another game that just came out that is suffering from they should have left it in the oven a while longer, and that's City Skylines 2.
Yeah,
it is absolutely getting trashed, and from all of the stuff I have seen, rightfully so.
And that's a game they're going to support it in the long term. You know that the mod scene around it is going to rally behind it, and you know that 5 years from now, it's going to be a fantastic, amazing game. I just wish they waited a couple more years for that to more coalesce. To release it now in such a bad state, it's just going to leave a bad taste in a lot of early adopters' mouths. It's just you don't like to see it.
Yeah, it doesn't even have
beginning.
It doesn't even have mod support yet. Like they took.
How do you release City Skylines without mod support? That's what made the first one so good. Are you kidding me?
Nope.
But I mean, even when we sat down and talked about how bad it was, we're like, it's CD Red Project. They're going to fix it. It's going to get fixed.
We knew.
It's going to get fixed, and it's going to be better. And we knew that. So even spinning it early, if it's somebody like that, like when you trust somebody as much as you trust like CD Red Project to be like, they're going to fix it. It's going to be amazing. I'm not mad that I bought it on early access, which is what it should be called. They shouldn't be called pre-releases. They should be called early access because that's what they are. And then whatever they do to fix it, it's going to be good. CD Red Project is always going to come through and make it better, make it right.
And talking City Skylines 2, Paradox supports their IP like they always do, right? And so we're gonna see that support come through. I don't worry about a Paradox game, right? So cool. Well, any other topics to talk about in the expansion or anything else?
Let me say one last thing on the expansion stuff. So I'm not that deep into it. I don't think, Chard, you are either, but
no,
I've gotten to the point where I've gotten to see Idris Elba's character. And my big worry when it comes to voice acting in video games with celebrities, I usually don't like it. For those who've played the new Mortal Kombat, they have what's her name from Transformers?
What's her name? Yeah.
And
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox. She voices one of the characters, and God, is it awful! It is.
Apparently, she just read the lines. She just.
Like they had Ronda Rousey do a character in the other Mortal Kombat, Cassie Cage, and that was really bad. But Megan Fox just blew it away with how shitty the acting is. So that's my worst fear. Is like there's amazing voice acting talent, and I always say give them the work. Like sometimes there's crossover, like Mark Hamill, actor, famously also a voice actor with Joker and stuff. Like he's a fantastic voice actor. There is crossover. But 9 times out of 10, when I see a celebrity is attached to a video game, like Keith Sutherland as Solid Snake, I got pissed off. Like, go back to David Hayter. Give me the actual voice actor who's trained in this. But I will say with Idris Elba, obviously it's for the celebrity casting. They made the character look exactly like Idris Elba, but he acts in it perfectly. Like, he did not just read the lines from the moment you meet him.
It's like a movie.
Yeah, it's straight out of a movie. Again, it's not like a carbon copy Idris Elba character. It's got a unique style to it. It's a voice to it. It's him, but it's really well done. And he gives it a full-on performance, and like that's what you want to see. If he quit acting tomorrow, he said, fuck Thor 5, I'm not coming back. I'm going to be a voice actor and do games. Totally cool with that. Like he could do it. He's got a great voice. I love that actor.
I mean, I think that there's the difference that like think is there a role that Idris Elba has ever done bad? Right?
No.
And then think, is there a role that Megan Fox has ever done?
Yeah, a lot. A lot of them. But I mean, listen, like Morgan Freeman, I'm a happily married man. But I'll tell you what, Idris Elba could read the ingredients to Frosted Flakes to me, and I would be like, I'll listen to the whole damn thing. Just like Morgan Freeman. I would be totally fine with it. And there's a great interview because he's got a good sense of humor about it.
Yeah.
And they were talking to him and he goes,
I saw this one.
The interview was like, so are you worried about the mod community doing anything to your character's body in the game? And he goes, how did Keanu handle it?
Yeah. How did Keanu take it? Well, he at first they're like, that the mod community is going to like make it so that like they can have sex with you. And he's like, oh, really? And then it's like the next slide, he's like, how did Keanu take it?
It's great.
He was Knuckles in the Sonic movie, and I thought, oh, what a stupid role for him. And even though it was a bad role, he still nailed it. He still nailed it. Of course he did. He is Knuckles now. It's canon.
I love that guy.
By the way, Megan Fox, we're looking for sponsors, Megan Fox.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah.
We could probably afford a Megan Fox, right? Maybe we can go to Cameo and get her to read something for us.
We can't get an Idris, but we can get a Megan.
Yeah, we can get a Megan. Yeah. We're sorry, Idris. I don't know. Idris Elba was really fantastic in this game. He really definitely sells that role. I'm looking forward to seeing the story with him and the other character too.
Keanu was Johnny Silverhand is epic.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I mean,
like
yeah.
this game will eventually become some sort of movie because they did the anime, which was an offshoot. It doesn't have anything to do with your character, but
Yeah.
How cool would it be if they were like Cyberpunk 2077 with Idris Elba and Keanu Reeves, and it's like
Yeah.
the birth of samurai, and it's got Rogue and all the characters, like, you know, and all the actors and shit. I'd be like, I'll fucking go see that in a heartbeat. Or Asako goes down, you know, you're like, damn, I'm there.
Yeah, there are some scenes in Cyberpunk that are still epic, and I still remember them even today. Like when I went through and I did the parade scene again with the giant floats that are coming down the city. Like that scene is breathtaking, and it looks even better now. This is a game where I, because of my computer, I was worried about running it. I signed up for GeForce Now, which is their cloud streaming service, and basically, for those who don't know, you pay $15 a month. You can log into your Steam account on NVIDIA's servers to play games, but you can crank the graphics up because it's on their server. It's their hardware. So I played this game at 4K with RTX turned on, and it's fucking amazing looking. Like this game is amazing. This rivals like Blade Runner 2040 that came out. Like it rivals Dune. It rivals all the Dune modern movies, all the bells and whistles. This game looks amazing, and there's a lot of set pieces that are epic. Like the side quest with Panam with the sandstorm, that whole sequence was rad. It looked amazing. Like when you're taking down the prison thing, like just there's a lot of great set pieces in this game. Like even from the opening mission with Jackie and shit. It's really well done. I don't know what they would do in a movie except just copy those scenes frame for frame because they're so well done.
So
as long as they copy Jackie walking into the filing cabinets,
or the car stuck in the ground.
Yeah, if that's not in the movie, if Jackie doesn't just say "fuck every file cabinet ever," I'm out.
If I don't see a Model T posing in the movie, then it's what they even doing. Yeah.
That's what. Yeah, if there's no T pose, you know that if they release this as a movie, there has to be some callback to the jank in the game. There has to be.
I would hope so.
Because I'd laugh my ass off. I mean, they did the same thing in God, what is that movie with Ryan Reynolds?
Oh, Free Guy. That movie was hilarious for that kind of stuff. Yeah,
it was spectacular. So I mean, you got to have it, even if it's a serious movie. Just have them T pose real quick.
Hey, even Dungeons and Dragons, the movie had the jank factor, right?
Yeah,
like
surprisingly good movie.
When the fourth best Chris like starts to like melt, his face starts to melt. Oh my god, I was laughing whatever off.
Yeah, or the guy or the undead dude waiting for his last question. Oh my god, I was rolling. I was dying.
Well, awesome. Any other thoughts on the DLC or the game?
Give this game another shot. Play it. Play version 2.0. It is legit.
Yeah, even if you don't get the DLC, try it again.
Yeah, just play the new stuff with the new look and the new additions to things. The perk tree is so much easier to navigate. Leveling up is easier. The game is a little bit easier. It's not. There's still some jank in it.
And I just looked. It's currently on sale on Steam still.
Fucking get it, man.
40% off for the base game, or if you buy the bundle with the DLC, it's 33% off. So
yeah,
get it. It's so good. It's still good. It's still got the homage, and CD Red Project did it justice. They absolutely fixed it. I freaking love this game. And if I didn't have to go take care of a puppy, I would probably start playing it as soon as we were done tonight.
I may be spinning this up after we're done here. So
my biggest regret this past 2 weeks is I haven't had much time to play games, and especially not a chance to play Cyberpunk. It's really well done. And like if you already own the game, there's no reason not to go back and play it. The DLC is worth picking up just for the improvements in terms of the storytelling. Idris and the boss battle was really well done. It's worth playing through again. The DLC gives you an additional ending you can do, from what I understand. Plus, there's also 3 endings in the base game. Like when I first played this game, I actually got the bad ending, and I was pissed. But now that it's been a few years, I'm going back now, and I want to get the better endings. But there's 2 other endings I can get. But I'm curious now what changes with the DLC ending as well. So there's definitely lots to go back and play this game for sure.
Yep, for sure.
Nice. Well, cool. Any other thoughts, or should we do some housekeeping?
No, I will say that this game makes me want to buy the Titan chair that has the Cyberpunk stuff all over it.
Bright yellow one?
And the damn table. Yeah, I'm like, damn, these things are so cool.
It's a nice looking chair.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the reason why I have the yellow arcade stick behind me, and you probably can't see it on my shelf, but I have a yellow controller.
I can see it, yeah.
I have a yellow Xbox controller, and that was because Cyberpunk theming at the time I got them.
Oh, I have bingo.
Yeah.
Jake pointed at the shelf. I never do that.
Jake pointed to the yellow controller.
Yeah, that actually covers 4 squares because you never actually do it.
Exactly. You bingo, automatic. That's an automatic.
Winner, chicken dinner.
That's right.
Here's your voucher. You get to play a free round of Circus Charlie on me.
Oh boy.
All right. On that note, we have some housekeeping.
Let's talk about some great video games like Circus Charlie.
Yeah.
If you guys just go first, because I'm still looking.
Okay.
He's going to put Circus Charlie up there. I guarantee it. He's going to be like, you know what? Fuck it.
If you're
this close.
If you're new to the podcast, we've been working through a pre-2005 press B to cancel top 100 top 100 games that we think you should play. We nominate some games each episode, as long as they're live, which this one is. And then once we have a compiled list of 100 or so, we will then start a process of trying to rank those, whether we do that in discussion on the podcast or if we kind of do like a summary or something, you'll hear about it. But for that being said, we have 3 games to nominate tonight. Chard, why don't you start?
I'm going to go back to a classic that I used to play quite a bit that had a banger soundtrack. It was on the Sega Genesis. It was a beat 'em up story type game. You know what we're talking about, but I'm going to pick Streets of Rage 2. Streets of Rage 2 introduced a lot of really cool things into the game from its series. Final Fight was there on the Super Nintendo. It reigned for quite a while, but we discussed it before we started today that Streets of Rage kind of just had its own thing. Like it felt like a better beat 'em up game than Final Fight. Don't at me. I'm just saying this because that's how we feel. Also, Streets of Rage had Streets of Rage 4 recently, well, not recently, a couple years ago, come out, and the game is so solid as Streets of Rage 4 that it continued onward. Streets of Rage 2 added the like the fire strike attack, and Blaze had her little flip kick thing that she did, and then it added Skates and Max, the pro wrestler, and then the kid in the rollerblades. And what 90s game is not complete without somebody on rollerblades? None of them, if you ask me.
It's true. You're not wrong.
Absolutely love Streets of Rage 2. I played it religiously. It's got some cool stuff. Did that one have the alien level in it? I think that one had the alien level in it, which was kind of a bizarre. Yeah, there's like a section where it's like a haunted house, and they're like fighting off aliens or something. That could be 3. I don't know, but all I know is that Streets of Rage
weirder.
2,
but
yeah, it might have been 3 that had that, but Streets of Rage 2 took the stuff from 1 and improved upon it and made it more solid. That stuff carried all the way into Streets of Rage 4. So that's how good it is. So I'm going with Streets of Rage 2 added to the T list today.
Did 2 have the kangaroo hidden character? I think it did.
That was 3.
Was that 3? Okay.
Had Roo, yeah.
2 is definitely, I love 2. I know we talked a little bit before the episode. I think 2 is better than 1 for sure. I like 1 was great for what it did. I would put 1 up against Final Fight any day of the week, but I still think 2 did a lot better. I really like the ROM hacking scene for 2. There's like a dozen ROM hacks for that game that are all solid. Like, and there's ones that just swap characters. Like if you want to play Sonic through Streets of Rage 2, the Ninja Turtles, you can, and they're really good ROM hacks. Just adding different characters to it. I really like Streets of Rage 2. Plus the music is so good. That's when we say Genesis sound is better than SNES, or at least I do. Streets of Rage 2 is one of the first games I'll point to.
That's one of the only games outside of Sonic that I will agree that it has a banger soundtrack than most of the other games that I've played on the Super Nintendo.
Nice. Well, Jake, are you ready, or do you want me to go next?
No, I got mine now. It was Streets of Rage 2, but fuck you, Char, for taking my pick. No, it's fine, but you gave me an idea, though, for one. And I'm surprised I haven't mentioned it already. Maybe I was saving it for a day like today.
Final Fight.
No, actually, Final Fight's okay, but like, no, for me, it's Double Dragon. So
yeah, okay.
I'm saying Double Dragon, but I'm also going to say the Master System version. And I know when we finally talk about the top 100, I'm probably going to get some pushback on this one. I know the NES Double Dragon is the one most people are familiar with and probably played, but I'm going to keep pushing that button. That's the Master System version is underrated. It's a fucking hidden gem. I used to speed run it before Brazil took over. It's fine. I'm going to go back one day and get that fucking record. I'm close. I'm at 13 and a half minutes. I just need to shave off 3 minutes. It's good. But I love the Master System version. Why? Because First off, it's closer to the arcade game in terms of the levels, and it doesn't have that stupid leveling up bullshit that the NES one does. The NES one, you can't do all the moves until you've gotten halfway through the game, or unless you like glitch the grind on stage 2. None of that in the Master System version. Master System, you have all the moves right from the beginning of the game, and that's the way it should be. It has an amazing soundtrack. It also has more enemies on the screen at once. It can have 3 enemies on the screen at once, just like the arcade, I think it was. The NES one, you're restricted to just 2, which is not the same. So I love the Master System version. I wish more people were familiar with it. I wish more people would give it a chance. I think it's got a great soundtrack for the Master System. It looks pretty good concerning the system you're talking about. Like, we're looking at an 8-bit system, and it just looks really good, sounds really good, and plays really good. So for me, Double Dragon on the Master System, I have a deep connection to that game, but it's also, I think, a good game. And I wish the Master System was more widely adopted in North America and people would have played it more, because I know how easily it gets overshadowed by the NES version. But that's my pick.
Nice. I've played a number of Double Dragon ports, and I've enjoyed pretty much every single one. So I think there was an Atari port that was bad, though.
The Atari one might be on the Wheel of Pain. I'm just going to give you guys a heads up.
Oh, no. Yeah. Good thing I finished my game.
It was bad.
Just me and
mine will be done at 11:59 and 59 seconds.
You're holding up a whole episode. I hope you're aware of that.
I'll finish Battletoads somehow.
Yeah. All right. Well, on to mine. So we have done an episode, so I'm not going to dive into this super deep, but my game is Prince of Persia. I am nominating the original Apple II release. I think it's the only Apple II game that we have on the list.
Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, I think we have some Commodore 64 that probably would also have been on the Apple, but Ghostbusters was definitely on the Apple. Prince of Persia, rotoscoping, animations were really cool. Came off of the back of Karateka, however you pronounce it. I mean, decent story for being a 60-minute game, and it's timed. Has some cool, I guess I would say fuck around and find out. Some leaps of faith, stuff like that. But, and then at one point, you meet your nemesis, and that's a really cool little bit. So we did an episode on it. I'm not going to dive into it. If you're interested in Prince of Persia and want to know more, go listen to our episode or watch our episode. But I needed to put that on the list.
One of the more influencing games on the industry for sure. I mean, I was watching a streamer I like to watch, MRR Knight. He was playing through Tomb Raider earlier this week, and just seeing the way Lara Croft runs and jumps straight out of Prince of Persia translated to 3D. Like, it's couldn't be more clear of an influence, and I think they even mentioned that in interviews. So like, I mean, that game's impact runs deep in the industry, like huge. It's definitely one that needs to be on the list.
Yeah.
Like, do we have Karateka on there? I don't know if we have Karateka on there.
I don't think we have Karateka. I don't think we do.
No, I think Prince of Persia is the better pick for sure.
Yeah. Jordan Mechner, however you pronounce his name, really did kind of build on Karateka. Karateka is a great game. I mean, it's janky today, but back in the day, it was amazing. So
yeah, but Prince of Persia brings that narrative to it. As simple as a story as it is, it's still a story, and it kind of gives you the theming to it. Karateka, you're just a karate dude on an island. So
you're trying to save the princess or whatever. By the
karate
way,
dude on an island was my Halloween costume this year.
There you go. He carried around the island with him. It was great.
It did. It was sick.
I do want to point out, since we're talking Karateka, I always thought it was funny because when you get to the very end and you go to rescue the princess, there are two stances. There's a running stance and there's the karate stance. If you walk up to her in the karate stance, she kicks you in the head and kicks your ass. One kick and she's finished you off. How is she a prisoner?
Wow.
You have beat the end boss at this point. And she... Yeah. Anyway,
she just wants a point to prove, just to see if she come to save her. That's all it is.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah. Also a point to prove, a segue. Jake actually does a pretty recent video on a playthrough of Karateka, the new it's a newer version of it. Go check
Yeah.
that out. It's on Press B to Cancel. He does some cool commentary about it. He plays like the original and then the newer version or a remaster version of the whole thing, and
I think
he
some
does kind of
demo
a breakdown
versions
and
and stuff.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really neat.
Digital Eclipse did a really fantastic compilation. They call it the Gold Master series that they started doing, and yeah, they did a whole thing on Karateka with behind the scenes interviews and all that awesome stuff, prototypes. It's a fantastic package, and yeah, there is a remastered or a remade version of Karateka as well, and it's a great way to play that game, and it just holds up. And you get to, I think they didn't include the NES version, I think, and the Atari 7800 version. But having played those outside the package, I understand why, because they suck. but the Apple one is fantastic. I love the Apple one.
Oh, for sure.
Let's remind everybody that Sinistar picked Prince of Persia, not Karateka. We're just going on a tangent.
Prince of Persia is good too. We have a whole episode where we just raved about that game, so that's a good one.
Rotoscope.
All right, gentlemen, this has been awesome.
It always is.
Yeah.
Always
the
is.
takeaway: go play Cyberpunk.
Go play Cyberpunk. Give it another whirl, and enjoy yourself.
All right. Well, I have been Sinistar. I think the other two have been themselves as well. So they have
still
not
your head
been
telling you to
Sinistar.
burn things. That's just what we're going to do.
Fantastic.
There you go. All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Down with Arasaka!